What's up, y'all? We are here. We are finally here for the challenge season 40. Just a rough, quick analysis for the episode. I think it was good. I think it was a good premiere. The pacing was good. The editing was good. The camera work was good. Everybody looks good, old and new. And I feel like we're kind of like, I don't know. I don't want to say it's giving old school vibes, but it low-key is kind of giving old school vibes. And let's hope, fingers crossed, that it stays that way for the rest of the season. Because if it does, I will be here. But I'm going to try my best to stick through it. So if you are new here, please hit that subscribe button for me and turn them post notifications on because I'm going to be here every single Wednesday night. I plan on it. If you're not new, you know that could be true. That could not be true. But we're going to try and make it true this season. Nia Moore is on this season. I got to watch for Nia. I'm going to always watch for Nia. And as long as she's here, you can at least count those episodes I'll be here. But I'm going to try my best to stick it out. We got a good cast. But if you have not already checked out my cast analysis as well, go check that out where I broke down each particular cast member because I'm not going to do it here. But yeah, we're going to get into this. Please thumbs up the video because that helps push the video out. Get everybody to me. Especially dropping the comments, that helps the engagement, helps push the video out, which helps get it recommended. It gets me in the algorithm. It brings more people to me, which means we all can have more conversations in the comments. And that's what I want. But enough of that. Let's go ahead and get on into this episode. All right. So everybody is pretty much arriving on this like Challenge 40 semi-truck. They get off in their little era fits. They all have their era outfits on in their colors, separated by era 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you don't know who's all on those eras, like I said, go watch the video that I did before. I'll put it in a playlist too, so go check that out and you can find it there. But everybody's pumped up, obviously, because it's time to do the challenge. It's season 40. It's a monumental season for the challenge. There's so many. This is the first time that we've had like a little bit of everybody from every part of the series. And when I say every part, like every era of the series. So this is a special one. This should be a good season. But they're standing there waiting on TJ. There's this light show going on. It's nice. It looks really, really nice. You can tell they put the budget into this season. They've done it with the promotions as well. I've been seeing a lot of promo of this show, more so than they've ever done in the last probably 10 or so seasons. So that's a good thing. Hopefully the ratings are good, and hopefully the show stands up to what they've been promoting. But TJ comes walking out with his boring ass, and the lights made him look so much more entertaining than he actually is. But they start cheering like they normally do. He welcomes them to Vietnam for the 40th season. CT pretty much talking about how he's been on about 19 or 20 challenges, so it just hits different for him with him being on the 40th season because it feels like home. He's had some ups and downs with his time on the show, where there's been good moments, where there's been hard moments. It just feels like home for him. We get the seasons broken up, the eras broken up. So we got Era 1, which is seasons 1 through 10. Era 2, which is seasons 11 through 20, which is TJ's first seasons of hosting. Era 3, which is seasons 21 to 30. And Era 4, which is seasons 31 to 39. The total prize pot, I'm like, it should be a good amount because it's a bunch of people. If it ends up being a team challenge at the end, it's a bunch of people. But the total prize pot is $1 million. Everybody's excited about that. Amanda wants to create a big bank account for her son. Corey said that he would have a big old wedding with Taylor. So it sounds like to me, Corey is only going to propose to Taylor if he gets some big money. Which Taylor, considering his track record, you might not be a married woman if you stay with him. But TJ ends up saying that to even get a shot, they have to get through the Era Invitational, which means they're going to whittle down the weakest link from each one of the eras. So he pretty much says that only 32 players will be at the second challenge, which means we're going to lose 8 people. So they have to race to do a puzzle. And it's called the first challenge. They do this first challenge first. And that's what's going to determine who's going to be in elimination. So the first challenge is called Light Up. So they have to race, and hopefully I got the instructions correct. But they have to race out to a puzzle. They have to put the number 40 together in the puzzle. So the puzzle it's going to be a number 40. So the puzzle has to be a 40. They then head to the shoreline once they get it correct to get in a boat to paddle out to a buoy. And there's 10 lights that they have to gather, and the lights are going to be in their team color. So they have to then race it back, plug it in, and then they finish. So the first man and woman from each era will win the challenge and be the ones safe from their era. The losing male and female from each era is going to go straight into the elimination. So then from there, the opponents will then be chosen by the winners of each era. So the two losers, their opponents in the elimination is going to be determined by the winners. So everybody else will go into the chamber to pretty much plead their case as to why they shouldn't be the other choices to go into the elimination. So they begin. They take off sprinting. Olivia does not want Nurys winning because she knows that Nurys knows how fake she is. Like, the way you did her last season, of course, I would expect Olivia not to want Nurys to win, just like she wouldn't want her to win. And she's expecting her to throw her in if she does win. But Rachel, she's trying to win. She's been in 3 finals. She's won 2 times. She wants to solidify herself as being the best of the best, which she would if she wins this season because you're playing against. We know that you was the best back in the day, which, if you ask me, I feel like the challenges back in the day, even though the ones that they have now are a lot more strenuous, I still feel like the ones back in the day were a lot better. Like, they just were more cohesive. It just made more sense. It flowed a lot better. The ones that they do now, it's like they try to make it so complicated to the point where it just does not seem that entertaining to me. So I always take the wins back in the day a lot better than the ones now. But she just wants to be the best. Cara is now the badass champion that she was. What the fuck is this? Cara is now the badass 2-time champ that she is now than what she wasn't before. As we all remember, when she came on Fresh Meat 2, she was weak. Like, and I'm saying weak, like she literally had no build. None of that. Like, she was eliminated first, and now we know she's tough. Like, she does CrossFit. Take it from somebody who does CrossFit style workouts. She a badass. Like, doing that, you got to be a badass. But she wants to beat Laurel. Anytime that she was available to be voted in when Laurel's on the season, Laurel ends up voting her ass in there. So she wants to beat her. As we all know, their history is always going to be a rivalry. Sometimes they like each other. Sometimes they don't. They always end up not liking each other. But Laurel says every time that she sees, every time she tries to get Cara out before the final, she's always there. So basically, Laurel's trying to make sure that Cara doesn't beat her. And Cara's trying to make sure that Laurel doesn't beat her. So it's the same thing. But they're always going to be rivals, like I just said. And even though they're on the same team, they're still going to be rivals. But Laurel ends up finishing the puzzle first. No shock there. She heads out to the boat. CT's the first guy to finish his puzzle. No shock there. Even though CT, like I said in my analysis, CT don't put on that weight. But as we saw on War of the Worlds 2, he was just as big as he is here and still found a way to win the whole season. So regardless if CT's in shape or not, CT going to find a way. So he immediately breaks his shit up after he finishes the puzzle and got it confirmed. He breaks his shit up. That's what you're supposed to do. You don't leave your shit there so other people can cheat. But Cara was next. No shock there. Casey's boring ass. We find out that she's engaged to Nani and they want kids. Good for them, but boring. Laurel, she's already gotten 4 out of the 10 of her lights. CT has 1 and Cara has 1. Tony is keep trying to get he's just putting shit together and then saying check, check. TJ keeps saying no, no, no. And Aneesa is feeling like her era is super strong because they have a lot of experience, which they do. Aneesa's been in 26 eliminations. She wants to get her 14th win because at this moment in time, her and Cara Maria are tied for the most wins at 14. Leroy is there to get his dub for his family. He thinks that he and Aneesa are the best players to never win. You might be so. Aneesa, I wouldn't say that. Like, when it comes to men and stuff, even though Leroy, honestly, I don't think he will ever win. I would say he's definitely in that category. I feel like Corey's also in that category. He's the best to never win. I would put Nelson in that category too. It's just it's built, in my opinion, I feel like it's based off of performance in eliminations as well as just social strategy and social game. And I feel like a lot of them have similarities in that. Aneesa, no, I wouldn't put her as that. I feel like Cam would be the best one for the women. But Rachel finishes, Tori finishes. Amanda's talking about their rivalry between her and Tori. She wants to beat her, obviously. Nurys, Michelle, Jenny, and Olivia, they all finish their puzzle. They take off running. Olivia's still talking about how she snaked Nurys, leading to their demise of their friendship. Corey's weakness, as we all know, is puzzles, but he finds a way to finish his puzzle. So he said, like, he's been practicing with his daughters, Ryla and Mila. So he's been actually putting in the work. Aneesa, like I said, take notes from Corey. Like, if you want to actually win, you got to start putting in the work. Corey knows that his weakness is puzzles, so he's been working on that. Aneesa, your weakness is you getting injured. So start working on the fact that you need to start getting yourself in better physical health. you get more injured when you're not in great physical shape. Because a lot of the times, it's always your ankle, and you're very top heavy. So fix that. All that pressure on your ankles, you can always get injured doing shit like this nowadays. Like back in the day, you might have gotten away with it, but the type of shit they be having y'all do now, it's not gonna fly. But Avery, Bananas, and Kylan, they end up finishing. Horacio is pretty much stating that his only alliance is Nerese and Kylan. The other people that he had put faith in last season, they stabbed him in the back. So at this point, he don't trust nobody, and I don't blame him. You shouldn't trust anybody. But Era 4 is down to Paulie and Theo as their last ones. They don't fuck with each other still, which I'm glad to see that. I don't want none of that kumbaya shit. I want some good TV. But Tina is struggling in the boat. Naya and Amanda, they're still struggling. Naya's just trying to make sure she ain't last. That's just what it is. She knows that she's not going to win this challenge. She just don't want to be the last one, which I don't want you to either, Naya. But Laurel ends up being the winner for Eras 2. She was the first one to finish. Carr was just right behind her. So if it came down to it being the top 2 finishers to win, Carr would be there. But since she's a woman, Laura already won for the women, so she's no longer in the top spot. But Carr is pretty much asking Laura, like, why the fuck you always beat me? Like, why you always beat me? Carr knows that she ain't safe because she don't trust Laurel. CT ends up being the Era 1 winner for the men. Rachel is for the women. Tina and Brad, they finished second for Era 1. Tori is the Era 3 winner. Jenny and Michelle, they come to the point where they neck and neck for the first position. Michelle ends up winning for Era 4. And she's just trying to make sure that Olivia's not in last place. As we all know, Olivia is Michelle's number 1. They like this. Horacio ends up winning for the men. No shock there for Era 4. Johnny finishes second for Era 3. No shock there. And Corey Ass ends up winning for Era 3. He beat Jordan. That was the biggest shock. But Era 1 is down to Aneesa and Katie. No shock there. Kylan ends up finishing second for Era 4 for the men. No shock there. Avery ends up getting third for the women in Era 3. Is that right? Because there's Avery left. No, Avery. I'm talking about Avery. John A. Yeah. I guess she got third. She finished third for Era 3. I don't know. I put third, but whatever. She was safe. But her and Adam, we find out her and Adam from All Stars 4, they're a couple now. I need to finish that season. I have not finished that season. I think I stopped watching when Jasmine got sent home. I need to finish that season. I knew they was fucking around, but I didn't know they actually was a couple now, but they are. But Nerese ends up being last place for Era 4. Horacio is trying to help her because she didn't even get up to the point where she could put her lights in before she realized she was last when she was in that boat coming to the dock. But Horacio is trying to help her up. And she started tripping out on him. I'm like, damn, like he literally sitting here trying to like pep you up and help you out, and she tripping out. Like she noticed she going in that elimination. That's why she's high. But she ends up pretty much saying that she's embarrassed. He's trying to calm her down like the boyfriend he is. She's still tripping out because she knows she got to go up against these brolic bitches. Like, she up against some brolic ass bitches. Like, Michelle is safe. And then you got Jenny, who's stacked. You got Casey, who was a damn professional football player. And then you got Olivia, who's big as shit. So, like, and then Nerese is skinny as hell. So, it's like, regardless, if it's something physical, she got her work cut out for her. But Katie is still being Katie. She in that boat struggling. She broke the damn paddle. I hollered when I saw that. She's now crying about being embarrassed. She said, I'm sitting here spinning around in circles like a dipshit. I was dying laughing. Tina was trying to tell her, nah, you good. But Paulie is sitting there trying to figure out how to navigate this game with him and Cara Maria. As we all know, they're still together. With them being on 2 separate eras, which is 2 separate teams, essentially. So he's trying to figure out how to navigate that, which I think is going to be good for you, I think. Like, if you have somebody that you trust on another side, if it does come to the point where y'all might have to have each other's back, it's good to not all be on the same team. You can at least try and work other numbers, other places. That's just the way I see it. But Theo ends up being last for them. So Theo's going into the elimination. That's the beast that you're going to have to beat. So whoever's in there against him, good luck. But Emily is getting humble because Emily, as we all know from the past, she has always been one of the stronger women. It's down to her and KellyAnne for era number 2. She's trying to beat KellyAnne to make sure she's safe. She wants to make a statement this season. Like, it's been a while since she's been back on the show. She wants to come back and still show, like, I still got that shit. And she ended up finishing it. KellyAnne is last for the women in era 2, so she's going into the elimination. My girl Naya is last in the elimination for Era 3. No shock there. When it comes to daily missions, Naya ain't going to win them. Like, she ain't going to win them. But when you put her in that elimination, she going to win it. And she ain't scared. She wants something physical. And I want something physical, too, because I want to see old vintage Naya. I want to see that old beast that we know is still there. But Brandon is trying to win for his kids. Mark comes in last for Era 1, as does Katie. So when it comes to the automatic eliminations, Era 1, Mark and Katie, they're going in. Era 2, Ryan and KellyAnne are going in. Era 3, the iconic pairing from Exes 2, Leroy and Naya, are going into the elimination. As we know, they are beasts in the elimination, so whoever's going in against them, good fucking luck. Era 4, Theo and Nerese. Theo's a beast in eliminations. Nerese, I'm going to call her a beast in eliminations, especially considering her performance last season. She went on a win streak where she was sending out hitter after hitter after hitter. She sent home Horacio, Kylan, Olivia, Mariah. She was kicking everybody out of there. As skinny as she is, she was kicking them niggas out. It wasn't anything physical, but it damn sure was something. It was an elimination, but she was figuring it out. But we got a bunch of elimination hitters in these eliminations, but the winners are CT and Rachel for Era 1. For Era 2 is Laurel and Bananas. Era 3 is Corey and Tori. Era 4 is Horacio and Michelle. So the rest of the house pretty much has to plead to them as to why they shouldn't be in the elimination. We know that there are 8 elimination rounds coming, which I don't know where this is coming from. Maybe there's going to be another set of eliminations. I don't know how they're going to do this, but I'm like 8 eliminations with 8 people. Should it be 4 eliminations? Maybe I got confused, but we'll see next week. But they head back to the house. The house looks really nice. From what I remember correctly, they say conditions weren't great, but the house looked like a damn castle to me. I like it. Like, it looks really nice. They put a nice budget. Like, you can tell they put a nice budget into it being season 40. Like, it's a really nice house, at least to me. I don't know if they changed locations, but we'll see. But Ryan is pretty much talking about how he knows that Laurel is going to be the poison of his era because he don't trust her. Laurel and Ryan were pretty much kicking it post-show. And according to him, he thinks that she thinks that he's close to Nicole because, as we all know, Laurel and Nicole was still fucking around on All Stars 4, which was Laurel's fault because you know who Nicole is. So you knew it wasn't going to go nowhere after the show. But apparently Ryan feels like he chose Nicole's side over her. So there's tension between them. Laurel and Derrick are really close. And I'm talking about Derrick from Cancun. Him and Ryan are close. But with them having friction, he's worried about it possibly fucking up their bond. But he wants to still be able to rock with both sides. He wants to rock with both Laurel and Ryan in hopes that it doesn't fuck up his relationship with Ryan. But the next day, everybody's strategizing and everything. Amanda and Casey particularly, they're sitting in this little kitchen area. And Amanda's fully expecting to lose. Or she fully expects to lose if she's thrown in against Naya. She's expecting Tori to throw her in. She's hoping that Corey got the balls to sway her from doing so. Laurel's standing there talking to them, and she's pretty much saying that she wants a strong female. Like, she wants to eliminate somebody, but she also wants to keep one with her to make sure that they can continue to win. And she's looking at Emily as somebody that she wants to keep around because she knows she's strong. She doesn't know too much about Aviv, but has that strong history with Cara Maria that makes her think, do I want to still keep her here even though she's strong? But Amanda, Bananas, and Paulie, they're sitting down talking, and Paulie's pretty much talking about how Cara is anxious, and he's pretty much just trying to get her to just go have a conversation with people, just go talk to people, and that's just what you need to do, honestly. But KellyAnne, she ready. She ready to go kick somebody's ass. KellyAnne got that crackhead energy that is made on the stove. So when it comes to somebody going against her, she got a different type of energy, and she ready for it. But Bananas is saying how he and Laura haven't even talked yet about what they're going to do. But CT and Darrell, we get a scene of them in their bedrooms. They got these nice beds now. Like, they don't actually have bunk beds like they typically do. They actually got what looks to be like full-size beds. So, good for them. They're happy about not having bunk beds because they're used to it back in the day. But it's now nighttime. Everybody's mingling around by the pool. You get Theo and Olivia. They're over there talking game. But everybody's instigating them wanting to fuck around. And that was funny. But Tina is now talking about how all the OGs value their sleep now. They can't stay up and cut up like they used to while the rest of them are out there cutting up. But Corey and Tony, they're having a conversation as well. And Corey's pretty much saying that he wants to be the best player there. And Tony's pretty much trying to downplay his worth to Corey to stay out of elimination. He's like, I think you should say Jordan. I think you should say Jordan. I think you should throw him out there. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. It's time to start getting these strong. Like me, if I was playing the game, I'm gonna try and get my biggest threat out of the game. That's just what I would do. And that's what Tony is pretty much trying to get Corey to do. And Corey's pretty much thinking, like, I got to figure out what's best for my game. Yes, Jordan is probably the biggest threat for me in this game. But Tony is also a big threat to me in the game because we don't have the best history. So he's trying to figure out what is the best decision for him to make. But the next morning, everybody's pretty much lounging around by the pool. Horacio's pep talking to Reese. And he's pretty much telling her, like, we're going to give you what you want. And she appreciates that, but she knows it's not going to be easy. She can't be too excited because she knows the options that she has are not cakewalk. So he's pretty much trying to weigh the eyes with her, saying, like, if it's something physical, you probably want to choose Olivia. And she says that she wants to. If it's something like a puzzle, she would choose Jenny because she's not the smartest one out of all of them. But Horacio is saying, like, don't think rivalry, just think that you above her when you compete. Bananas is sitting there watching it, knowing that Horacio and Nerese being a couple, it's not going to bode well for their game. Yes, they're a strong couple. Like, Horacio is one of the best guys there. Nerese proved her worth last season. So, two strong people here is not smart. Two strong people that are connected, that's not, and they're on the same team. Like, you don't want that because they're going to always have each other's back. And if they have numbers and they have people that they're super close with outside of each other, that's numbers against you. So, of course, they don't want that. But, Josh is sitting there talking to Jenny and Theo, saying that if he goes against Theo and he loses, Horacio and Nerese will have control over their era, which that means the other side of their era that is not attached to them, that's a number that's gone, which gives them more leverage over everybody else, which is true, even though I don't fuck with Josh. But Theo is talking about how Paulie had gotten him thrown into 4 eliminations on War of the Worlds 2. And if he gets to go against Paulie, he going to fuck his shit up. And I'm like, please do so. But everybody's working out. Leroy's talking about his son with Laurel and Casey, and Nia walks in as well, talking about how his son pretty much wanted his sister off of Cam whenever she was born, because they was asking him, like, how did he react whenever his sister was born. Leroy left his daughter at home with Cam and son 2 weeks after she was born. And he said he got out there, he didn't bring any pictures with him because he feels like looking at them will make him weaker. I'm like, well, Leroy, you should have stayed at home. If anybody should have been out here, it should have been Cam. Because you're not winning. Leroy is not. I'm at the point now where I'm done rooting for Leroy. Because he's not going to win. He's not going to win. If anybody in that family is going to win, it's going to be Cam. But CT and Derrick, they're strategizing as well. And CT loves Darrell, as does Derrick. But CT's worried about Darrell's performance, which wasn't as strong as what his history is. Like, his history back in the day when he went on that streak winning 4 back-to-backs. It's just not the same Darrell, which I hate because it's not. It's not. But Darrell is in great shape. Darrell is in probably better shape than he was back in the day. He just don't perform the way that he used to. But Brad is looking like the one out of Era 1 that is looking like the best person to keep in the game, at least for them to win. Because Brad's performance impressed CT. So CT's looking at Brad like somebody that I don't want to throw in because I want to keep him here to help us win. So CT doesn't really see Darrell as somebody that he can count on, even though he's really close with him. And he's like, I got to think about who's going to help me win. And it's a valid thing. Even though I love Darrell, I can't. CT making sense. But Rachel's pretty much telling Mark, like, she loves Brad, Darrell, and Derrick. Like, they all have tight-knit relationships, especially the OGs. Like, the Era 1, they all have long-term friendships that have carried over 20 years. So they're worried that could go down the toilet when it starts to come down to them having to vote who to go in. But Rachel ends up saying that it's between Aneesa and Jodi for her. Obviously, Tina is a non-negotiable for her. So now we get to the chamber, which is the last part of the episode. So the heirs go in individually, and they'll be in there individually pretty much pleading their case. They start their time and start deliberating. Era 1, Derrick wants to protect Darrell. And Darrell was like, he thanks him and he loves it, but Derrick's his number 1 in the game, but he ain't about to volunteer for him. So he's basically like, I'm glad you don't want to say my name, but I ain't going to say yours. Like, it is what it is. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say I don't want you to go in, because if it comes down to me and you, I want you to go in and not me. I would have been the same way as Darrell. But Era 2, basically Ryan said that he wanted to go against Brandon without saying that. Of course, Bananas instigated that into being said. And Brandon's looking at him like, okay, nigga, I want you in there. I want something physical so I can fuck your ass up. Like, that's basically what the energy was on. So it's looking like it's going to be those two for era 2. For the men, that one seemed the most pretty concise. Aviv is talking about her lack of relationships with her era, so she's kind of worried about her going in. In era 3, Tony is pretty much saying that Corey's got to do his best for his game. Who's easier to beat for him, either Tony or Jordan. Jordan's pretty much saying, like, you got to get to the final. And the only way you can get to the final, you got to worry about you got to actually get to the final first before you can actually worry about the final. And Jordan's like, I can help you get there. We all know that is true. Jordan is a lot of things, but one thing that you cannot deny is the fact that that nigga is literally top tier when it comes to these games. He's top 3, probably top 2, not even number 2. I hate giving it to him, but he's a beast. That nigga is a beast. But John A is pretty much saying, like, there's no chance that Tony is not getting picked. Like, with Tori up there, no matter what type of relationship her and Jordan have, she always going to have his back. She always going to have his back. But Jordan is pretty much saying, like, he will repay what he owes. And we all know there's a strong chance if Jordan does go into the elimination, he's going to come back. But era 4, Michelle is pretty much saying that she knows the conversation is about who Nerese wants, but she knows who she don't want, a.k.a. Olivia. Nerese says essentially going against Olivia is going to play to my strength. So she's pretty much saying I want Olivia. But Michelle ends up wanting to stop Olivia from going into that elimination, and she starts trying to plead her case. She says what Horacio is to you, Nerese, Olivia is to me. So she's pretty much saying, like, I don't want, just like you don't want Horacio going in and how Horacio don't want you going in, I don't want her going in. Nerese pretty much said to her, like, look, that's all good and cute, but, like, y'all did that same shit to me. Y'all put me in the same position last season. Y'all put me in a hard position. So now it's up to you. You figure it out now. And, of course, Michelle starts crying. She's the first person this season to start crying. Well, no, she's not. Katie was crying. But Michelle started crying. KellyAnne is me. KellyAnne said, I ain't got no sympathy for you because this is deja vu. Y'all did this shit to us last season. Like, y'all put us in this same position last season. So, karma is good karma. But we get Cara back in there deliberating. And she's saying that she don't want to insult Laurel and Banana's experience in the game with, like, pretty much trying to sway their decision. She said, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to talk to you straight. It's no secret that we have a lot of history. She's saying that I could do the obvious and pretty much, like, y'all could do the obvious, which is to throw me in, or you can do something unexpected and actually want to work with me this season just for the sake of our era. I said it's a mature and strategic approach because it is true. Like, if you want to win, having Cara on your side is not a bad thing because she is a beast of a competitor. But also, Laurel sitting there looking at her like, okay, you might have my attention, but you can tell she like, I still don't want you here. But Laura's pretty much saying now's the time to take a shot in her confessionals, saying that Cara only thinks about her. Same thing can be said about you, Laurel. But Laura ends up saying it's a tough decision. Banana says, as much as he'd like to put the past behind him, it's tough. CT ends up asking his era, like, what would y'all do? Tina said, I would pick the 2 from the bottom. And Jodi ends up saying, too, because it was down to her and Aneesa at this point. Jodi is saying, like, she's got the least deep relationships with the girls, but she feels like she's an asset to the team because she's a strong player. And if you want a strong team, you will want me on your team. That's a valid argument. But Rachel feels like CT should be the one to handle the women's decision and she'll handle the men's. Aneesa ain't liking it. She immediately knows I'm probably going to go in now because, like, CT done proved that he going to put me in because he done put me in numerous times before. But I'm like, Aneesa, well, you are the weakest one on paper. Looking at your team, besides Katie, who's automatically going in, you are the weakest one. Like I said, you're injury prone. You could literally go walk down some stairs and get injured and you might as well go home anyway. So you might as well throw her in. But Aneesa is pretty much upset because she feels like her and Rachel have such a good history and her leaving it to CT is just an automatic betrayal to her. But Avery is in there talking to her team, era 3, pretty much saying that she feels like she's the bottom of the totem pole. She doesn't really have that many deep connections with a lot of people, even though she got like Nia and Leroy in there or whatever. And Jordan. John A's talking about how she's a well-rounded player. She's a 2-time champ with a lot of experience. And Amanda cracked me up. Amanda cracked me up. She said that she and Corey came into the game fighting for their best friend Nelson, who we all know he's gotten his legs amputated. I think both of them, because he had gotten into a car accident, DUI. Do not drive under the influence. That's all I'm gonna say. I hate it for him, but do not drive under the influence. because that's literally a prime example of what could happen. He's lucky to still be here, but that's what could happen. But she's pretty much saying, like, we're bonded through him. She's trying to work every angle that she can. And Corey said, I'm going to need a little bit more than that. Amanda said, like, we don't have any friends. We both don't have that many friends in here. Like, a lot of our friends are not here. She then addresses Tori and says, Tori, I ain't kissing your ass. She said, I ain't kissing your ass. I ain't like you before. I don't like you now. And I'm probably not going to like you ever again. I said, see, this is why I love a man. I love a straight shooter. I love somebody that ain't for none of that bullshit. And she says, like, but the thing is, though, even though I don't like you, oddly enough, we have the same friends. So you keeping me here is probably going to be a benefit to you because the people that you work with are people that I work with. So if the people that you work with and the people that I work with, I'm not going to put them in, which is a good chance that they're going to still be here, which is numbers for you. She made a very valid argument, which you could tell Tori was thinking about. But then we get Paulie and Theo going back and forth. This is the last part. He's pretty much saying that if Theo's been walking around saying that he wants him in that elimination, we can finish it in the sand. Paulie said, it is what it is at this point. Theo said, okay, then that's what's going to happen then. I said, here we go. And he said pretty much like, when you shake somebody's hand and lie to their face, you a coward. And if I got to be the one to take your ass out of here, I'm going to do it. I said, that's what I'm talking about. Let's get into it. But they start bickering over the World of Worlds 2 stuff. And that was the end of it. I hate that we ended on a cliffhanger, but good premiere. Good premiere. Y'all let me know what y'all think down below. I'm ready to see these eliminations next week. Thumbs up the video if you got this far and have not already. And if you got this far and have not already, drop your comments down below. Do that. Turn the post notifications on. Subscribe if you are new and have not already done so. We're going to be here every single week. I'm going to try to. Try to hold me to it. But I will see y'all next week. Peace.